What's up, guys? You're listening to Players Only Podcast on Scarlet and Gray Sports Radio. Thanks for joining us. I'm Kortokrax on Ohio State softball. I'm the shortstop.
My name is Reagan Milliken, and I play first base on softball.
And today we have a special guest, our teammate.
Hi, everyone. My name is Kirsten Eppele, and I'm a junior outfielder on the softball team.
So we have lots of the softball players in for our first show that we're talking today. So very exciting. Today we're going to talk a lot about our faith and how our faith has brought us through together, but a lot of the girls on our team together, and just watching it develop has been really cool. So I would say something cool about us three was that we go to this thing called Crosssports, which is a Bible study on Wednesdays. And a lot of athletes go there, and we started seeing other athletes talk about how they pray before games, and we noticed that was something we didn't necessarily have a part of our sports program, but it was something that was important to all of us. So one game last year, Kirsten, Reagan, and I decided that we'd go by ourselves, so we didn't want to pressure anyone else, but we went out there and we kneeled at the foul line before the game at South Carolina, and we prayed together. And from that game on, that was the last time it was only us three, and just each game has just continued to grow and grow and grow. So would you guys like to talk a little bit about what's that meant? How that has meant a lot to you, just watching, and not only watching, but being a part of seeing something so important to us grow?
Yeah, so it's really cool for me to see that because, like Cami said, we just started out with the three of us, and each week it grew and grew, and even the difference from last year to this year was insane. I think this year we have almost over half the team out there praying with us, and I just really like it because I think it's a great way to show our faith to everyone and show that we're playing our sport for God and how we glorify Him through our sport.
Yeah, just echoing off of what Cami and Reagan said, it's been great to see it grow. And just like Cami said, we didn't really pressure anyone into doing it. We just decided, we wanted to do it, and to watch just people keep joining us each and every game has been such a beautiful thing. And it's just great to take the time to thank God in that moment and to just allow him to be with us before the game starts.
Yeah, and something that stands out for me, I don't know if you want to go around and speak a bit about what stands out for you in that prayer and in that time while you're praying and kneeling there, kind of what's going through our heads, but one of us are often the ones that are verbally saying the prayer, going around, and so a lot of our teammates are just bowing there with us and listening to what we have to say. And oftentimes we try to just place the emphasis on our worth is through Christ and in Christ. And we're sitting there no matter what the game how the game goes, what the lineup says, no matter any of that stuff, just allow us to remember that God loves us so much. And so how does, I guess, hearing those words before we go out there and play, how does that impact both you guys?
I would say definitely just kind of brings more of for me, brings me to peace, I guess. Just that reminder and being there with your teammates just shows that we're all together in that moment and that our worth is just only divided by Him.
Yeah, I just think it's a great way. It's easy to, when you're playing at such a high level, to tie your worth to, your performance or things that are just outside your control. But just allowing God to, remind us that our worth is tied through Him. For me, it helps give me a better sense of a greater purpose outside of softball. My purpose of what I do, it's through Him. It's to thank Him for the gifts He's given me. It's not for how I do that day or how I'm feeling. It's for a greater purpose.
Right. And obviously playing softball, playing any sport at this high of a level, there's going to be nerves, right? No matter what your position is, or no matter how whatever's going, you're obviously going to be nervous come that day. So I feel just sitting there and talking about something that doesn't revolve around softball, not on the line, there's no tension when we pray. It's an ease. It's peace. So sitting there and kneeling before whatever happens in the game happens, just sitting there with our teammates knowing you have each other's backs. And after every single time we prayed, Reagan, Kirsten, and I have just given each other a hug after each prayer. And that's something that we don't go back in the dial without giving each other a hug. And that's just something that shows love comes from our faith. It just places so much, I think, love on this team. And I feel it just has brought in our team chemistry so much better through learning about people's faith and understanding people's faith and things like that. for example, this Bible study that we talked about, cross sports, right? Reagan and I actually had the opportunity to speak at it. So we sent out a message. We told people on the team, and there were girls that really don't even know what they believe in, but they really get along with Reagan and I. We've had an impact on each other. We've built this really great connection, and so it was important for them to show up for us because they knew it was important to us, regardless of how they believe, what they believed or not. So like Reagan, I don't know if you want to kind of speak about like what that meant when you that day we spoke. There were other people on the team that were there that don't really know what they believe, and that was the first time they've been, and honestly they haven't been back since we've spoken, but it was important for them to be there that night. Like what does that mean to you?
Yeah, it means a lot to know that teammates who don't know what they believe in or like questioning their beliefs, that they still showed up for Cami and I because they know it's important to us. So that just shows like how much love and like we have for each other, and how much like our sport and like our faith is bringing our team together, I would say.
And Kirsten, like, how did you think it was cool that like it was like a lot of people end up showing up that night from our team, like the most people from our team that night?
Yeah, it was just really cool to see that, like, what we've done has impacted people in a way that like they want to show up, and like even though they don't know like much about faith, or they might not be super faithful, they're like willing to come support, and just we've built that relationship to like where it's like spreading throughout the team. People are becoming more interested in being like, okay, like what is it that we're doing here, and it's been really beautiful to see.
I just want to say, I want to ask you, Cam, about so whenever we spoke at Cross Sports, we invited our coach, Coach Witt, who is our new hitting coach this year, and we know that she is a woman of faith, and we invited her, and she came, and it meant a lot to me, and I just kind of want to hear what you have to say about that.
Oh yeah, 100%. So Coach Witt is a younger coach in softball. Like, had a very successful career when she played, and she came in right away. And I mean, I can only imagine. Obviously, this is my second year here. This is second year for Reagan, but third year for Kirsten. But is Coach Witt the first coach that's come in since you've been here? Like new addition?
Yes.
Yes. So going through for the first time for all of us, it was a new addition, obviously, in college softball. And like, she's our hitting coach, right? So when you come in as a hitting coach, there's a lot of girls that think a certain way about their swing, and you don't really necessarily know how this person's going to approach it. I mean, they might come in and be like, oh, your swing's wrong, try to change and everything. And like, I would say personally, I don't know if you guys would, I figure you guys would agree to this, but like Coach Witt hasn't come in and like tried to say anyone's wrong necessarily, but she just tries to build and work with each person. You guys agree with that?
Yeah,
absolutely. I love she is great. Like, her presence at practice is just like, and in games just everywhere is amazing. Like, she is just like calm but confident. Like, that is someone you want to be behind. And she's great. She works with everyone very well. She doesn't try to change anything. She tries to work with you and just kind of like meet you where you're at, and like, help you along the way. So I think that has been really helpful for our program.
100%. So she's just someone that's impactful and purposeful every day at practice, when we're in between games, if we're doing film, like whatever she's doing, she's such a purposeful person that leaves impacts on our team and has already come in and have made impacts and made connections with us. And like specifically, so when I learned about that she was a woman of faith like so deeply, I was not surprised at all, just because typically if you look at someone, the way they live their life, for like us, we've pretty much grown up in the faith, and we're really big into it, and it means a lot to us. So we live out our faith, right? So Coach Witt lives out her faith regardless. She doesn't have to sit there and talk about the Bible necessarily, but she's just the way she acts and the way she leads and the way that the persona that she has on her team. Like, she is just like a person that's so impactful and purposeful. So like, her showing up that night was like, I wasn't surprised, because that's who she is. And like, having that person a part of the program, I feel like in sports it's so important to find these people that leave impacts on the kids you coach for. Because I mean, who wants to go play for someone that you don't like, right? I mean, who wants to play for someone that you don't really think is a good person? I mean, I feel like that'd be a terrible situation. Like, for us, I love all our coaches, and I think they're all great people, and they're doing their best in whatever situation they have presented itself. But just knowing Coach Witt is a person of faith, it connects us on something that's so much deeper than softball. So just knowing that and moving forward through that and like having that connection is just like something that's really neat. And then like, she said that she showed up that night at Cross Sports, but she also showed up to when Reagan and I got baptized. We got baptized again. with 2 other of our teammates. And so we all got to get baptized together. We talk about the faith a lot. It's very present. I mean, before games, cross sports, whatever, we talk about faith a lot. People know a lot. Like, there's no shame to any 3 of us sitting here. Like, we love our faith and we're fully into it. So if people on our team have questions or if they want to get more into it, they know who to go to. And I love that. I love that all 3 of us. Like, I mean, it means a lot when a teammate comes up to you wanting to talk about faith, right? So we were getting baptized, and we ended up having freshmen there. There were people from every class. Like, we're sophomores, but juniors. There were juniors there. I mean, and then we had Coach Witt was there again, and so was our director of ops, Letta. And like having those people there, and like our practice ended up getting changed around that Sunday we were supposed to get baptized. And I had a previous conversation with Letta about how we planned on getting baptized that day. And so I got a phone call from Letta, and she was like, the weather's changing and we're trying to like plan our practice time, but I know you said that it is important for you and some girls on the team, that day is important for you guys to get baptized. So can we work this around to allow you guys to have that allow in our practice? And I feel like at a Division I college, it could be so easy for them to be like, you're here for a job, you're here for softball. Like, you might have something that you had planned, like our baptism, but things change, you got to move it. Well, they knew our season was starting the week after that, and we weren't going to have time to get baptized, and they knew how important it was. And so to them, they were fully committed as a coaching staff to allow us the time to take that time and get baptized with our family, friends, teammates, coaches, and practice was after that. And so like for me, that was something that was huge. Like, it was just like that's so cool that I get to play for people that not only understand it's important, but genuinely care about it, and that showed up for us like all at the same time. So like, you guys, I don't know if you guys want to like speak about what it's like playing for coaches that like care about our faith and like let us speak it to our free will and like just be present in it.
Yeah, I just think it's been great to have the opportunity to have those like moments where we're able to do that, and to have coaches that support us along the way. It's really great to see, because when you're trying to build something like we are, having that relationship with people and like with our team that allows us to grow. And the way we have been able to grow is something that's been really special. And I think that's what's grown, the relationship with our team and with our faith even stronger.
Yeah, basically just seconding what you said. Like, I know it's really important for us to have everyone there supporting us, and it means a lot, especially whenever coaches and teammates are always there behind us. So.
I 100% agree. So do you guys, I don't know, like for me personally, coming to college I feel like I hear a lot in college, right? Like that's where a lot of people can did you guys grow up in faith, like in your families?
Yes. So I actually have a really cool story with this. My mom has been she's been my role model with faith.
Great woman. Love her.
Yes,
Love
she's
her.
awesome. But so growing up, like the beginning years of my life, we weren't super faithful. We would go to church, on Easter and Christmas. Well, my mom, which I didn't really find this out till later, she suffered mentally with things, and she actually had a turn to Jesus moment where she began praying every day, reading the rosary every day, and we began going to church, and just to see how happy she's become. And she, doesn't have any more mental issues, or doesn't have she doesn't really struggle like that anymore. And that's been beautiful to see. And she's shared that with me. She's helped me along the way. She bought me my first Bible for Christmas, my senior year of high school. And just has kind of helped me to grow in that relationship. And she didn't really pressure me at all. She kind of just showed me and led by example. And I saw how that was so amazing in her life. And once I kind of started reading the Bible more and getting into it, I saw how it was impacting my life in such a positive way. And so now it's affected my family so well. We go to church almost every Sunday. We'll pray together at dinner, pray together every night, and it's just kind of been a beautiful thing to see.
That's really cool. But when you said that your mom never forced you in, I imagine you just saw what impact religion like had on her, and you probably thought like, I want that, like that's what I want. Is
Yeah.
that like what kind of happened?
Yeah, exactly.
So that's just powerful. That's like the thing about the faith, our faith that we believe is like it's so powerful. It moves you where like words can't even imagine to try to take you, which I think is really cool. So Reagan, how about you? What kind of?
Yeah, so I grew up in the church. I grew up Methodist and went every Sunday with my family. We're there Easter, Christmas Eve, like never really missed anything. And then I started getting bigger into softball, and obviously traveling over the weekends, like I wasn't able to go as much. So I would say I kind of like fell off a little bit. But ever since coming to college, I have been like almost like way stronger than I ever have been. I would say like I hold account to myself way more. Cammy and I do a devotional every night, and she got me a one for mornings for Christmas, so I do that one in the mornings, and I'm just like chasing after God every day and continuing to grow my faith every way I can. So.
Right, that's the cool thing about coming to college, right? Like I feel like it tests us a lot as what becomes important, especially playing sports. Is like, what are your priorities? Which is like when you look at someone, it's easy to tell what their priorities are, and like being Division I athletes, we have priorities, but we have big priorities. Like our softball is a big priority, workouts big priority, school big priority, but also our families big priority. Like we don't have the time and the leisure to just go hang out with all these people all the time, which is like. But then at the same time, with faith, like it'd be easy to just sit here and be like, oh, like I have a Sunday to sleep in, I'm gonna sleep in and miss church. I'll just roll back at it later. Or like the Bible study on Wednesdays. Oh, like I'm just gonna miss this week. Or it's easy to like fall out of it when we have so much on our plates. But for like us, it's so important for our priority is in faith, in God, and like we don't have to necessarily go and make everything about it, but we can bring God through like everything we do, and that's something that's so like cool. I think about our faith is that we don't have to just like we have priorities, and I feel like when you live your life like through your faith, like that's a priority to you, you make it in everything you do. And so like you're never concerned about not having time to live out your faith. You just do it every day, which I think is something that's really cool. So like I also like Reagan, I was growing up in the faith. I went to Catholic schools. I'm not Catholic, my dad's Catholic, mom's Methodist. So my parents, we all like with my brother, we went to church every week, every Sunday, and like my parents have such a strong marriage, and I feel like all of our parents actually have such like really good marriages, and faith is very present in all of our households. And like seeing that, like me, like that's basically why I'm never gonna find someone. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
Single forever.
I'm kidding, but like seriously, like seeing the type of love that they have, like, and like seeing that they place so much of their like relationship and faith, and like growing my brother and I up in the faith was so important. Like all of us up in the faith is so important to them. It doesn't surprise me anymore the more I learn about it, how strong their faith is, and why they wanted us to be brought up in it. So like getting to see that impact has just been really cool. But then obviously when you come to college, right, it becomes our choice. So like our parents were no longer waking us up to go to church, and our parents were no longer sitting down, coming in our rooms, praying with us every night. It was our choice. So I feel like for me, that's what was the biggest switch in my faith, and like why like now it has just meant so much more than any other year was because it's my choice now. I choose to drive to church on Sundays. I choose to get in the car and go to church. I choose to go to cross sports. I choose to do that devotional prayer with you every night. I choose to speak to God every single day. I choose to listen to worship music when I want. It's like our decisions. So when we choose how we want to live our lives, it just means so much more to us as Christians, and like how we live our faith. And so like I don't know if you guys had a similar experience of like when you felt like it became your choice and your religion. That's kind of why like Reagan and I got baptized again, because it's our choice now, and like that it becomes so much deeper on a level when you make something your choice. So I don't know if you guys have anything to say about like when you feel like it was your choice to continue like moving away from home. There's no more babysitting from our parents. Like we choose what we do. And so, like, I don't know if you guys have similar feelings about, like, how it meant more to you, or?
Yeah, so like Cammy said, we chose to both get rebaptized. I was baptized, like, when I don't even remember. I was so young. So the second time was, like, my choice, and, like I said, I grew in my faith definitely a lot more whenever I got to college. So the second time getting baptized, it was just like my choice. Like I'm choosing to live my life for Jesus, and like it's I'm on my own. Like Cami said, like I'm choosing to go to church every Sunday. I'm choosing to go to cross sports and do all these things. So
Yeah, I think like my freshman year, honestly, coming in, I struggled with kind of like, I didn't go to church a lot on Sundays. And a lot of that had to do with the fact that like I didn't really have anyone to go with. You know what I mean? I was kind of scared to go on my own. And I really honestly think like, having people like Kimmy and Reagan to share that with, and like we started going to cross sports and just being able to share that with people has been such a great experience that has brought like, me closer to faith. Like just having people to like, share that with, and to continue to grow that with other people, I think has been a big drive in like, choosing to continue to like go to church and continuing to grow in faith.
100%. And so Kirsten's actually dating my brother, everyone. So, but there's purpose. I'm not just putting her on the hot seat here. I love Kirsten, and actually, I played Cupid. I just play Cupid for everyone, and hopefully one day karma will come back.
We're gonna find Cammy a man.
Yeah. I'm just kidding. But my brother has ended up going to church a lot more, being with Kirsten, than I've seen him on his own. And so like seeing the impact that you've made on my brother, but like also you having someone that like that you are in a relationship with that like shares those same values. Like I don't know if you want to kind of like speak about it. I know it's like maybe a little weird because he's my brother, but like at the end of the day, like you guys do like share your faith together in your relationship. And I know he was talking to me about how you guys got a Bible or like a Bible. Yeah, I saw that. We have Amazon. I go through all these orders and everything, and I was actually stalking the Amazon orders one day, and I saw a bracelet was in there, and it says "Believe in you like I do," and I was like, "Oh my gosh, my mom is getting this for me for my season starting. That's so sweet." And then I remembered Valentine's Day was coming up, and then I remembered to look at the order, and Kylan bought it for Kirsten, not for me. So, Amazon orders, it'll get you. But I don't know if you kind of want to talk about like I've seen the faith, like I've seen him more in his faith. I see you in your faith, and having someone to share that with. Like I don't know if you kind of want to talk about that a little bit.
Yeah. So, we started doing it together just because like in our relationship we wanted to like do things together, and one of those things like faith is really important to me, and I told him that, and he was like want to grow in that together, you know what I mean, like and so we started going to church. We continued to talk more about faith, and for Valentine's Day he bought us new Bibles to look at because we kind of wanted to be able to like read them together and be able to talk about it together. Just because, like, being able to grow, being able to interpret, like, what it says and then how to live that in our lives. And I think that's, been a great part of our relationship. I think it's helped, like, bring us closer. And I just really think, like, it's been really cool to see. Like, being able to do that with, the person you're in a relationship with is such a beautiful thing.
100%. I think it's so cool. Like, I know for a fact, this dude, Kylan, my brother, I know for a fact, like, I just know, I mean, I love my brother to death, and I think I just look up to him in so many ways, and, like, he's made me the person I am in so many ways, like, I love him, and he's just we push each other to be better every day, all growing up. I mean, we're only a year apart, so we just push each other every day, and I just seen the way he's grown. I mean, he grew up in the church, but when not that he got out of it, but it wasn't as consistent in his life as it started becoming to me, and so I just have seen the impact that you've had on him, like as a person, like getting to play with you, and like I know how amazing you are, and like I know for a fact Kylan would not have ordered that Bible on Valentine's Day, let alone any day, given if he wasn't with you. And so like I think that's something that's so neat about our faith is like if you really see a person who buys into their faith and like makes it so important to them, like you see what an amazing life they live, and like it's hard to sit there and ignore it and say like I don't want to be a part of that. So like just seeing my brother like dive in with you so far into like that side has just been like really cool for me to witness, and like I'm very grateful that like his first girlfriend was you and someone who's like I think so amazing and like into their faith per se. Then
intrigued.
Story time.
So I'll tell the beginning part from my perspective. You know, we have our softball formal coming up, which like we don't do that a lot. It was our first year doing it, but our team's really close. I love our team. Team's super close. We're like, let's do an end of the year formal. Dress up. What girl doesn't want to dress up, right? Dress up. Wear a dress, whatever. Bring a date, okay? Some dates were better than others. Anyway, okay. So,
if you know, you know.
Sorry, Zach, off topic. Anyway, so Kirsten didn't have a date, right? And Kirsten, when I heard that, I was like, no, you have to have a date, like whatever, like even if it's just whatever. I'll literally auction off my brother. My brother and Kirsten have never spoke before, and like my brother, like he plays baseball at Otterbein, which is a college around here, and so he's busy. We don't get to see each other a lot. Like our seasons don't interline a lot. So like it's like he doesn't really know Kirsten. Kirsten didn't know him. They didn't know each other. And I was like, whatever. Like I told Kirsten, I'm like, you're taking my brother. Like I want you to have someone, whatever. And like I said, my brother's a good person. Did I ever see it going the way it did? Never in a million years. Because my brother's just like me. Like we've never had relationships. We've like very much done our own thing, done sports, done school, like done whatever we want to do. So did I think it'd end up this far? No, I didn't. But at the time I was like, hey, I'm telling my brother to go with my teammate Kristen, and I was like, it'll be perfect. How could he say no to, you know, Division I softball player? Come on, Kylan, let's try to put him on a little bit. So then that night they ended up going to formal together, and I would like just watch them. Like they just seemed like they had a great time and everything. And like I was like, good, this worked out for one night formal, great. but then like Kirsten, I don't know if you want to talk about like how it went from there. But I don't. You speak, and then I'm gonna.
Well, the funny thing is Cammie asked me probably about 4 times to take her brother, and I wasn't sure. I was like, you know what, I think I'm gonna go by myself. Like I just like, you know, want to enjoy my night by myself. Finally, like she texted me, I think after we went home, and you know what, I was like, sure, why not? Let's see how it goes. So, and yes, we ended up having a really, really good time.
They didn't even have each other on social media or anything before. I literally remember sending Kylan Kirsten's Snapchat. I was like, here, boom, like make the plan.
Yeah, he Snapchatted me. He was like, are you the one I'm going to formal with? I was like, yeah. He was like, okay, what are we yeah.
Kirsten?
And then he was like, what are we wearing? And I was like, just dress up nice. I don't know. So, yeah, we ended up having a really, really good time together. Continued to Snapchat. We both talked about it, and we both did not see it going anywhere. I didn't plan on being in a relationship for a while, and I know he, like, you know,
has never been
in a relationship, and he wasn't looking for a relationship. And then I don't know, we just like once I got back in the summer, we started hanging out more, and you know, I was kind of like, you know what, I really like this guy. You know what I mean? He's like awesome. He's one of the most genuine, sweetest people I've ever met. And yeah.
I'm just kidding.
I'm just kidding. And yeah, we just, you know,
it's been it was funny because so Kyla and me are really close. Obviously we're siblings, but like as we grow up, like we would literally fist fight all the time. Like my mom would be like, yeah, I don't know. Like, we'd always everything was competition. We both played basketball. We played softball, baseball. We were only a year apart. I mean, school, everything was competition in our family. Family game nights, brawls. I'm telling you, like everything was this big competition. So I love my brother very much. But so when like whatever, I just didn't expect anything to happen. So we tell each other everything pretty much. So Kylan comes to me and he's like, listen, like I think I like Kirsten. Like I think I might actually like her, but. He was like, he's trying to blow it off, trying to play it down. You know, boys are idiots, so they're dumb. 100%. I speak by that. We can have a whole nother podcast about that. Anyway,
don't get us started.
Yeah, don't get me started. But basically, my brother was like, oh, I'm moving out of the house. Like, I'm going to be on my own. I'm going to live the college life and do whatever I want out of the house. I'm like, I'm so happy I'm not in a relationship. And then Kirsten came along. And everything changed, and his world was flipped upside down, and boom, like you're a liar, Kylan. You did not do any of that stuff. You found Kirsten, and bam, that was that. So I still can't believe. Sometimes I'm just like, I can't believe Kylan is with you. But I know Kylan, like, I know the idiot Kylan growing up, like tattletale. I wanted to punch in the face. So like, and you know the Kylan that he is grown into be now, which I love, and I just admire who he is as a person a lot. But it's definitely been cool. Like, it's funny. People ask me all the time, like, is it awkward your brother dates your teammate? I'm like, no, because Kirsten is such an amazing person. Like, I think Kirsten is so amazing. If anything, I just can't believe she's dating my brother. But I'm just kidding. I love him. So, but it just has been cool to see it. Like, I like it a lot. Except, like, one day we were in a scrimmage, and I was on deck, and Kirsten was at the bat. She was getting her cuts in. And all of a sudden, I see this number 54 chain around her neck. And I'm like, is that my brother's chain she's wearing at our scrimmage? I was laughing so hard. I was like, bro, what? They're dating. That's crazy. But they've been dating for months since then. But, like, that was funny. So the last topic I kind of want to talk about, back on track, forget Kylan, I'm just kidding, is pretty much our social media as athletes. Like, we have social media, like we have social medias, we have following, we have little girls that follow us, like at these camps, they meet us, and like social media is big for athletes, right? So I know for all of us, we post about our faith on our social media quite evidently, quite frequently, quite like dominantly. Like, our social media, a lot of it is our faith. We're not afraid to speak out about it. So I don't know if like you guys both want to kind of speak out about why it's important for you guys and why you choose to share your faith on your social medias.
Yeah, for me, like, I'm not afraid to share it just because, like, that's who I am. Like, I am very strong in my faith, and, you know, you never know, like, what, like, one repost or, like, something, like, little like that could mean to someone if they're, like, having a bad day and, like, not a believer or just anything like that. Like, I'm just not afraid to, like, share who I am, so.
Yeah, kind of going off what Reagan said. Just like we have so many people that, follow us, and especially like, a lot of little girls who like, play softball and have dreams to play at the college level. And I think it's just, and honestly, whenever I share like, anything about my faith on social media, I don't necessarily do it for the purpose of like, okay, like, like I want to like, send all this stuff out, like, like impact. It's more kind of like, like this is something special to me, and I, want to share it because of like, my love for faith. And I think honestly in that, it's kind of cool to think in the back of your head that's like, wow, someone like, someone else, this could touch someone else. Because I know there's been times where I've been like, having a bad day, and I just go through Instagram and like, I'll see something and I'm like, I needed that one. So it's just kind of like, I don't know, it's kind of cool to think that like, you could be impacting someone in that way, especially someone, who has the dream to be at the level we're at today.
100%. You just never know who's going to see whatever you post. And like, if something means so much to you and you post it, it's your social media. You have every right to post what means so much to you. And like, and out of everything I've ever posted, as far as religion goes, my faith, like just anything I've ever posted, not once have I received any type of like just hate comment back on anything I've ever posted. And I have just received countless like, oh my gosh, I really need to hear this today. Oh my gosh, what is that devotional book? That passage was really good. I need that for myself. Oh my gosh, like my little girl watches you, and the fact that you post your faith and that she sees that faith is important to you, and like it's not cool, but I mean like not saying that it's like a trend or whatever, but like that something could be so important to you that you're not afraid to share. Like my daughter can get behind that. Like a little girl, I met this little girl, her mom DM'd me that she painted me drew me a picture, and they were coming in town for the girls basketball game, and she was like, do you have any time to just stop by and meet? And I was like, of course. Like, I love meeting these little girls. All of us do. Every softball player on our team loves interacting with younger girls. So we were I walked in, her family's there, and this little girl is sitting there, and she's like, oh my gosh, whatever, just like give me the picture and everything. Her mom's like, tell her what else you like to do. And she's like, on Sundays, I like to go to church too. Like, this little girl said that. And I was just like, and like, how do you know that? Because I posted on my social media. Like, no one, like, people aren't going to sit with you in church all the time, right? Like, that little girl's family lives 2 hours away. They would never know how much I believe and how much important it is to me if I didn't post it. And because they haven't met me before either. Like, you meet people, that too. But like, that's why it's so important for me to post, because I want them to know that's what I'm about. I'm about that. And if you see me posting this and then you meet me and I'm an idiot, then that can turn someone away so fast too, because you're posting all this stuff and you're saying you're about faith, but then you post this and I meet you and you blew us off or whatever. Like, it's like, you're an idiot. But that's where it comes, like, you meet me then and you're like, this makes sense. Like, that is why that. And I feel like that's why it's so important for all of us sitting, like the three of us sitting here, and like just everyone that's big in their faith, that it's important to them and they live it out, which I think has been really cool. So.
And I think Cammie and Reagan, like both you guys live out your faith so beautifully. And it's so fun to be around, you know what I mean? Because like you said, someone shared something and then you meet them and they're the exact opposite, it's kind of like, well, what are you really living by? Like, are you just posting that for show, or like, are you just like, like what's going on here? And I think, being able to be around, people that live out their faith and like, their character. I know like I have many people like that in my life, you too, my family, going back to Kylan again. So many people that, just live the way that, faith has taught them to. And I think that's just something beautiful. I think that's impacted my life in such an amazing way. And I think it's helped build me into the person I am today.
Yeah, I would have to say that I mentioned that once I got to college, my faith got way stronger, and Kristen and Cami are definitely a big part of that. They help to grow me in my faith every day, and just going to cross sports every week, meeting the people there, has definitely helped me as well. So
yeah, God is so purposeful in what He does, and me ending up on a team with people like Kirsten and people like Reagan, that there was a purpose to that, and I truly believe God put you guys and everyone in my life for a purpose, and your guys' purpose was just to continue to build that faith and bring it, and us three starting that prayer of us three that one time kneeling before the game has turned into something where so many girls on our team, more than half our team now, kneels before the prayer, and just seeing that grow and being a part of that and adding that to our program has been huge. And I think being able to share that story, come here on this podcast and talk about it for the first time, and us three just sit down and kind of talk about it and talk about how the social media is talking about and everything, that it's important to us. And of course, Kirsten jumped at the opportunity to speak about her faith, and Reagan jumped at the opportunity, yeah, that's a great first show topic. So just want to say thank you guys for listening and tuning in. Hopefully you got some dating tricks and tips. Hopefully you got some real takeaways about faith. And if you guys ever have any questions, I'm Cami Kortokrax.
I'm Reagan Milliken.
And I'm Kirsten Eppele.
And don't forget to tune in to anywhere you get podcasts to listen to our next sessions that come in. So have a great day.